that is it for us today. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. Now, I can't read it. There's no words on it. There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out. I don't know what that means, to play us out. What does that mean? We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm going to use that as my intro every episode now. Hey guys and gals, thanks for joining me. Welcome back to the They Gave Us a Podcast. I'm your host as always. Got a good episode for you today. Well, hopefully. I don't know yet. It's not like I'm like shooting a TV show and I know what's about to happen. I have no idea what I'll say on this podcast, so maybe it'll turn out to be shitty. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I'm here. I'm your boy Shannon. Back once again, like I do every week, looking to take up an hour of your life. 60 minutes that you'll never get back. How many seconds in a minute? 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. So how much is that? Whatever. I'm not going to even try to figure that shit out right now. I'm good with math, but not that good. Like I said, thank you for joining me as always. Today is Tuesday, April 20-something. I have no fucking clue what day it is. Oh, man. Today is Tuesday, April 25th. Man, so much went on. If you heard the intro, the clip before the intro, then you'll understand what most of this episode is going to be about. It's your boy, good old Bill Oreilly. Dude's finally out of a job, man. Well, not really out of a job. I mean, let me first just say this. Bill Oreilly got fired from Fox News. And can it be labeled as a firing? Maybe it was a mutual, mutual depart, or deportation, or mutual departing. That's what it was. So, whichever one you want to call it, he's no longer at Fox. And it's, I guess, stemming from his, all those rape accusations and all those cases brought against him. He had to pay out all that money, millions of bucks. He's a rich white guy. I mean, I'm sure that money didn't hurt him in any way, but, nonetheless, he's out of a job, man. He had advertisers backing out left and right from his show. The Oreilly Factor. And I guess Fox finally grew some balls. Let me stop, because Fox has balls, man. The shit, the news they report, they've got some balls. They finally just, I guess, stood on some moral ground. I don't know where that moral ground ends or begins, but I don't think it's a long, I don't think it's a sturdy ground at all. Yeah, out of Fox. He's done. So now you've got a lot of people saying, you got a lot of people praising the firing or the departing, which I guess in a sense makes sense. The dude was an asshole. He was a bad guy from what we're led to believe. And he just spoke so many things that were just inflammatory that, I mean, at some point, it had to boil over. He had to, it was either Fox or him, and obviously he's not bigger than the station, so the dude's gone. Which I don't feel any way about it. It, doesn't matter to me. The O'Reilly Factor, it's not a show that I watched. I mean, I watched it a few times just to get some information, even though it was fake news, I guess. It's fake news to liberals and the Bible to conservatives. So I don't know whichever one you want to call it. We got a lot of people, like praising the fact that he's fired. I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't really make much difference to him. The dude's loaded. Apparently he's already got a podcast. I don't know if he had the podcast before, while he was doing the O'Reilly Factor, or this is something new. But he's got a podcast that's widely popular, and he actually charges for his podcast. I don't know how much. It may be like $20 a year, something like that. But he actually charges for his podcast. I don't know many, if any, that charge for a podcast. So that is some dickhead shit for you to do. So, apparently I guess it kind of boiled over when he was talking about, he basically said that Maxine Waters was wearing a James Brown wig when she was like on the podium talking and some shit, which is actually kind of funny. But, if you don't know who Maxine Waters is, she is a Democratic representative for California. That's all I know about Maxine Waters. So don't ask me anything else. Don't expect to learn anything from this podcast. If you're at this podcast expecting to learn new shit, you're fucked, because I'm gonna lead you down the wrong road. I'm telling you that right now. So basically, that was a tipping point. Is when he was talking about her, and then you had all these women popping out of the woodwork, people that worked at Fox News, with all these alleged sexual harassment cases, which is hilarious because, everybody killed Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby can't even be seen in the streets anymore. Dude can't even leave his house because of all the sexual harassment, or, rape charges, I guess, the alleged rape charges. He can't even leave his house. We killed him. But Bill O'Reilly is just walking around, old white man, cash money in the bank, doing his podcast, charging fuckers for his podcast, and he good. The last thing I heard about Bill O'Reilly was he was fired or let go or separated from Fox News. I didn't hear anything else that was inflammatory, anything about him or anything about his life or anything about his past or anything like that at all. That's it. That's all I heard. And with a sprinkling of a little sexual harassment allegations here and there. But that's it. That's crazy. I don't know what that stems from. I couldn't tell you, but and maybe it's just that whole white-black thing. Who knows? I hate playing a race card, but maybe it's that. I don't know. That's just crazy to me. I mean, shit. When the movie, what's that movie? What the hell is that damn movie? It didn't just come out, but it was like a pro-black movie. Nate Parker, Birth of a Nation. Yeah, Birth of a Nation. When Nate Parker was coming out with that movie, that movie was about to drop. There was some woman that came out in the news saying that he raped her, maybe back in college or something like that. And we completely, black folk, white folk, completely shut his shit down. Like, that movie didn't make anything. That movie is supposed to be like the coming out party for the black delegation, and that shit did nothing. All from one rape allegation. So it's crazy how we kill the black folk when bad shit happens, and then when the white folk do the same shit, it's like lessened to a certain degree. I just find that to be weird. And no, if you're a new listener, I'm not racist at all. Trust me. I just like to talk about black and white shit just because it's fun to me. I just love the conversation. Yeah, that is insane. Bill O'Reilly, no more O'Reilly Factor. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Speaking of dead, Aaron Hernandez died. That's fucked up. Shannon, you cannot do that. That is a bad transition. You can't segue into death like that. You got to be serious like people on the news. And speaking of death, isn't it weird, like, when news people, does anyone else notice this shit? Like, when news people do that robot voice, you know, that tone, where it's just like all news people have it. I'm going to try to do it, and I'm going to sound stupid, but just hear me out. So it'll be like, the guy will be like, in news today, a man was alleged, like, what? Like, in news today, a man burned down his house with 2 people inside. For more, let's go out to Carrie Jones. Carrie? And then the chicks sound like a mixture of somebody underwater and Barbara Walters. You know? Like, wah, 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 wah. I can't do it. But trust me, like, next time you listen to the news, just listen to that shit, man. It is, and you will never get over it. That shit will bother you for the rest of your life. But getting back to what I segued to, Aaron Hernandez, the former star tight end for the football New England Patriots, killed himself. He hung himself in his jail cell. So Aaron Hernandez has been in jail for a couple of years. He was a star tight end, like I said, for the Patriots. And I don't know if he was convicted of murder, but he must have been convicted since he was in jail. Or maybe not, I don't know. But he went to jail for the murder of his former friend, Odin Lloyd, who played football, but it was like semi-pro football. So he wasn't like in the NFL. Killed him. Aaron Hernandez got sent to jail. And this was like maybe, 4 or 5 years, maybe 4 years ago. Which sucked because I loved having Aaron Hernandez on my fantasy football team. The dude brung in so many points, man. Ever since he got convicted and went to jail, my tight end spot in my fantasy football has just been shit. shit for the past 4 or 5 years. Yeah, he hung himself in a jail cell, apparently. And he hung himself on April 19th, which is weird because taxes were due on April 18th. So if he was anything like me, he procrastinated in doing his taxes, and I think that's why he hung himself. See, now that's fucked up. You can't say shit like that. I didn't do my taxes. I filed for an extension until like October just because I'm lazy. So, that's wrong. I can't mock death like that. But he killed himself. And like, of course, when something like that happens, there's this whole lore going around on social media saying that Aaron Hernandez did the smart thing. He killed himself while he was, how do you say that? While he was awaiting trial or something like that. And therefore, since he's awaiting trial, he's not necessarily guilty yet. So he still gets the money from his contract, and then that money goes to his daughter. It's full of shit, man. I hate when people, someone came up with that shit. Somebody was just sitting down somewhere one day smoking and fucking came up with that shit, shared it, and now everybody's a fucking lawyer. Everybody posts it. It's not true. Contracts and the law don't work that way. Okay. In the vast majority of contracts, and I'll probably say about 98.999% of contracts, the contract is null and void by death. So there's no money. Okay, this isn't life insurance, and life insurance doesn't work that way anyway. Because if you kill yourself, if it's found that your death was a suicide, the life insurance money doesn't go to whoever you left it to. So, and I spoke about this hive mind thinking of social media. Now that we get everything out, everyone can see everything. We're desensitized in a lot of ways to death, to abuse, to racism, to any subject. We're so desensitized to it. And everybody fucking shares this post like they know what they're talking about, and it is completely and utterly dog shit. Serious. I took one look at that post, and I'm I hope you've seen the post. I hope whoever's listening to this has seen the post. Jesus, I can never talk, man. I hope you guys have seen that post so you would know what I'm talking about, and I'm not just. It doesn't sound like I'm rambling out of my ass. It's false. His daughter's not going to get the money from that contract just because he killed himself. Like I said, the law and contracts don't work that way. So no, that's not going to happen. Aaron Hernandez killed himself. He's dead. That's it. Like, and furthermore, I don't get why. How do I say this? I don't get why we can't talk ill about the dead. That's one thing that really gets me. Let's say, like, really grinds my gears, like Peter Griffin. Really chaps my ass. Whatever phrase you can come up with. It really gets me, man. That all of a sudden, because someone died, we owe them the utmost amount of respect, even if we didn't respect them that much when they were alive. You see what I'm saying? So, you feel me? Check this. What the fuck was that? That was like the beginning of a rap. You see what I'm saying? You feel me? Check this. I think the problem is I'm trying to sound too cool. I'm trying to bring in a black audience. That's what I'm trying to do. Stop. So it's like, okay. See, I'm all off my game now. I fucked myself up. Like, I get when people say rest in peace to celebrities. Even though I kind of don't get it, I can understand it. I can rationalize it to a point where Michael Jackson dies and people say rest in peace. People adore them for their talent. And so when they die, you feel like you owe them a certain amount of respect. When anybody else dies, Charlie Murphy just recently died. Great comedian, Charlie Murphy. Very underrated, by the way. Charlie Murphy was an animal, and he definitely deserves a rest in peace. From everything that I know about him, he was a dope dude. So rest in peace to comedian Charlie Murphy. But let's just say, for example, I know someone I work with, right? Nah, that doesn't fit right. I want to use a celebrity because it hits home more. But I don't want to use anybody's name like that and put that out in the universe because that kind of sucks. All right, let's just say, for example, right? There's this dude that I hate. I hate him tremendously. I will always hate this dude. I never respected him, right? He dies, and all of a sudden, I feel like I have to pay him respect by saying, if somebody says something bad about him, I say, oh, don't talk ill about the dead, or, show that man some respect. That is ridiculous. And I guess it's from a tradition. It's just passed down to where, there's this line Kanye says on his song Big Brother. He says, people never get the flowers while they can still smell them, which is kind of connected to what I'm talking about. It's because we never show these people respect until they're dead, and then we take flowers to their graves and we cry over them and we show them respect by not saying anything bad about the dead. It's complete bullshit. If you didn't like someone when they were alive, you don't owe them any allegiance to be respectful when they're gone. It doesn't make much sense to me. And that's I made a few jokes about Aaron Hernandez, and I just did it on this podcast. If you consider that a joke at all, and it was funny to me, but a lot of people would find that to be fucked up because he's dead and I shouldn't talk about him that way. But I want to get into the nitty gritty. I want to talk to someone because I can't have a conversation with myself. I want to talk to someone who disagrees with what I'm saying and ask them why they disagree. Why do they think it's the right thing to pay respects to someone that's dead and gone? It'll just be interesting to find to dive into their mentality on that. But yeah, fuck it. Whatever. He's gone. Hung himself in a cell. They're saying that he left a suicide note and he had like a gay lover. And they're actually saying the dude that he killed. And this is what they're saying. I'm not claiming anything. They're saying that the dude he killed, Odin Lloyd, was, I guess, knew about him being gay. Or was his gay lover or some shit like that along those lines. And that's why he killed him. And then I guess he had a gay cellmate as well. So he was like you call it bi-curious or whatever, or bisexual. I don't give a fuck about his sexuality. I'm just describing what his suicide note said. But that's some fucked up shit, man. I don't have any sympathy for him. I mean, he fucking killed somebody. Like, I don't have any sympathy for anybody that gets themselves into jail for whatever they may have done. And then some shit happens to you in jail, or you end up killing yourself, or I have no sympathy for people like that. I try my hardest as a 30-something-year-old black man. I try my hardest to avoid trouble, and so I don't get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, even though it's kind of a contradiction, avoiding trouble and getting caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I try not to get caught in between there, because I don't want to go to jail, because I will not last in jail. I don't know if I spoke about this on another podcast, but I will not last in jail one day. And that's just the truth. I'm not going to try to make myself seem tougher than I actually am. So I try to stay out of trouble, man. I have no sympathy for anybody that decides to put themselves in that position. This is going to go off the rails a little bit, because I had a friend that went to high school, and I found out earlier this week that I had a friend that went to high school. I had a friend that I went to high school with. I found out sometime this week that apparently she got in a car crash, and her two young sons, I think both were like 12 and under, died in the car crash. Like, holy shit, man. How she must feel at this point, I couldn't even imagine. Like, and that's really, if I'm not scared of anything, the two things I'm scared of is going to jail and death. Death fucking terrifies me, man. I think about leaving the house and never coming home. It's probably gonna sound to you like I've like smoked a little weed or some shit. I have not, but that shit scares me, man. It really does, especially shit like that. And not to get all sentimental, but my heart really goes out to her, man. That is unexplainable. That is, to me, there's no coming back from that, man. If that happened to me, I would not be able to function. So, if you just sit down and think about that, man, life is so fleeting. You know, you got people, and like I said, we're so desensitized because of everything we're able to see that we don't, I guess a lot of us don't even pay attention to our own mortality. Enjoy the fucking little things, man. Enjoy whatever you can at whatever point, because that shit could be all snatched away in a second, man. Life is scary. It really is fucking scary. It's like, damn, you're not going to be here forever. At some point, you won't be here. It sucks, man. Overall, it sucks. Get off that. I don't want to get into that at all. I became a fucking vegetarian like 3 weeks ago. I mean, like 3 days ago. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Like, I'm a meat eater, man. I love burgers and chicken and shit. Like, I can't, like, so far so good. Like, I'll go to Chipotle and get like a fucking vegetarian wrap, which is actually pretty good, but I just feel like a grass eater, man. Like, all I'm eating is grass and beans, and it feels like I'm not supposed to live like this. It feels like it's torture. But I'm doing it for purposes of losing weight because I'm just a fat fuck right now. So it just if it doesn't feel right to me. I don't like this shit. And for me to make this my lifestyle, I don't think I can actually do it. I need some motivation. I need I need to be rich and then have like a chef just make all my shit and just tell that chef, like instruct that chef to not make me shit else but vegetarian meals. And if I ask him to make me something else, he has the right to slap me in my face or I'll do something. That's the type of discipline I need, man. I'm a no discipline having motherfucker. It's just a rough life. I was gonna get baby mama on this episode. She agreed to it earlier in the day, and then we had an argument like a few hours ago, and she decided not to do it. And so I was like, all right, whatever, I'll leave you alone. But I think I got on her nerves, and she had enough of my shit, and so I don't think she was up for having a conversation with me at all. Which is fine, you know, it happens. I'm a dick, man. I love getting on people's nerves, especially someone I'm dating. I fucking love that shit. That shit is like my, that's my motivation to live, is like fucking with my girlfriend, getting on her nerves. So, here's what happened. All right, so this shit might be petty to y'all, but whatever. So, she wasn't feeling too good, and as you guys know, we have a 3-week-old son, and so it seems that every time she leaves me alone with this dude, he just immediately starts crying, like without even knowing she's gone. It's like telepathically they're fucking connected from all the time they spend together. So as soon as she leaves the car to like run into Walmart and get some medicine for herself because she wasn't feeling well, immediately starts wailing, crying. I'm like, oh, fuck, come on. So I hop in the back seat. I give him his fucking Bobo pacifier, whatever you want to call it. He spits that shit out. He didn't want it. So he starts crying again. I give it to him again. He smacks it out of his mouth, just starts crying. I say, fuck it. I'm just going to sit here and let you cry. So I sat there. I let him cry for like 5 minutes, and I could not take it anymore. And so I called, like, the same story I told on the last podcast. I immediately called her and was like, dude, he's crying. Can you hurry up, please? And she was only in the store for like 6.5 to 7 minutes. That's how much of a pussy I am. So I'm like, dude, can you hurry up, please? He's crying. And she like immediately ran out of the store, got in the car, was pissed at me because I'm a douchebag who can't take care of his newborn son for 5 minutes. I'm worthless, man. Sometimes I'm worthless. So she has a right to be upset with me, but I just left her alone and let her sleep. I do realize that I was supposed to be giving you guys story times, and I realized that I haven't been. I don't know if I have. Maybe it's been like 3 episodes or something. And I don't even know if you guys found my story times interesting. Listen, if you guys want to interact with me, if you guys have any questions, if you guys hate the podcast, you want to tell me how much of a piece of shit I am, email me at theygaveusapodcast@gmail.com. Okay? Theygaveusapodcast@gmail.com. You can email me anything you want, except for dick pics. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But yeah, I might have a story time for you guys on this one, man. It might be a good one too, so just hold your breath for a second. You know what? Screw it. Let's just do it now. Story time. So check this, man. As you guys know, usually most of my story times are about females, my interactions with females, because I don't know, I'm just a scumbag and I've like been around the block too much. So you can call me a hoe, I guess, right? Or a slut or whatever. So I went on a date with, I met up with this one chick, went on a date with her, took her to eat. Now, granted, shit was like, where did we go to eat? I think it was like Fridays or Applebee's or some shit. So it was big money. You know how I do. You know how I get down. So took out to eat. had a good conversation, blah, blah, blah. So, and like, she was like maybe on a scale of 10, she was like maybe 5.5. But, I was trying to get my numbers up. I was, so I was like, whatever. If whatever goes down, goes down. And I didn't really expect anything from this date. It was just for fun. I drove like maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to see her, to meet up with her. So we're on a date, ate at Fridays or Applebee's, big money. So after that, she was like, oh, come with me to Walmart. I need to get I need to get a few things for my kid's birthday party the next day. And I'm like, cool, let's go. I got time to wait. So we walk around to Walmart. She's getting some shit for like her kid's Disney Frozen party or whatever. Gets all the stuff. We walk out. We get in her car. And she's driving me back to my car. And so she's like, she's like listening to country music or whatever. She's white. So she's listening to country music. I'm like, damn, I don't like country music at all. Like, I hate this shit. Whatever, it's just small talk. So I'm like, oh, so you're just going to drive me back to my car? Like, you're not going to invite me over or anything to watch a movie? And she had said, oh, if you want to come over and watch a movie, we can do that. I don't really want the night to end yet. It's so early. And I'm like, cool. So right there, I'm like, okay, I'm in this a little bit. I'm working my way in. So I get in my car. I follow her back to her crib, which is like kind of like had my stomach turn a little bit because it was off in like Redneckville, like in the not like deep in the suburbs, like the woods. So I'm like, oh shit, I ain't coming back, man. This is my last day on earth. So I follow her to her crib, whatever. We go in, we watch a movie. What movie did we watch? Shit. I can't remember the movie. I wish I could. So we watched the movie. And after that, I was like, you know what? It's too late. I guess I should stay, right? And she was like, yeah, stay. So we're sitting on her couch and, kind of make out a little bit. She gets up to go get me some blankets to sleep with on the couch while she goes to her bed. And, I kind of started making out and kind of talked my way into her bed. And she was like, all right, let's go on my bed. So I swear, I sound like the biggest slut I know. The story is not fake, I promise you. This shit is real. Like, I swear on my life this happened. So you go on her bed, we start doing the thing, expletive, men at work, not men at work, men at work, get it in. And then the next morning, we wake up and she's like kind of cold, like not cold to the touch, but like attitude's kind of cold. And I'm like, okay, like, all right, well, I guess I'm leaving. And, she let me leave or whatever. I drive home. So I call her halfway home and I'm like, hey, just want to see what's up, see how you doing, see how you feeling, how the night go. Nothing, no response. Texting her, same sort of a variable of the same thing, no response. Texting her, no response. Texting her, no response. Call her, no answer, no response. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I finally get home, and then she finally hits me up, and I'm like, yo, what's up? And I could tell that she deemed me to be not that great in bed. She didn't come out and say it flat out, but I just knew from what she was saying, like, oh, she said she didn't want to see me anymore because I didn't like country music, or because I said this and I said that. And I'm like, nah. In my head, I'm like, nah, that shit's petty. Like, it's not because I don't like country music. It's because I didn't put it down well. I to this day, I feel like bad. I feel bad for that. It just doesn't. It doesn't make me feel right, man. Like, I could have like showed out and performed my best, and I didn't. Like, I wasn't up to par, and that may make me look a certain way right now because people are gonna be thinking that that I suck, but I do not suck. It was just the fact that I wasn't on my game that night. And it was unexpected, man. I didn't expect the shit to happen. Like, I didn't expect it to go down. So, I mean, you cut a brother some slack. But nevertheless, whatever the less, she deemed me to not be that good in bed and thus never called me again. So, that's a lesson, man. Always be on your fucking A game. That was story time. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. This was episode 13, which I did not mention in the beginning. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on Spreaker and iTunes. Also visit the website. Also visit the Facebook page and the Instagram page of the same name of the podcast, which is They Gave Us a Podcast. Follow me on either of those platforms. Subscribe on iTunes, please. That is important. It lets me know that people actually like this shit. You can also actually catch me on SoundCloud now. I'm actually back on there. So if you go on SoundCloud and type in They Gave Us a Podcast, you'll see me come up. You can subscribe or listen there. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this podcast as always. Oh, before I forget, let me mention this again. You can send an email to theygaveusapodcast@gmail.com. I'll answer any questions you have on the podcast. If you want to get on the podcast and just talk bullshit with me, we can do that. So just let me know. Thanks for listening, guys and gals. Appreciate it, as always. And you guys have a wonderful fucking week. Peace.